Hello, everyone, and happy Hmong New Year. Thank you all for being here today. I especially want to thank the organization, the Board of Trustees, as well as my New Year Planning Committee. We have spent many sleepless nights planning this event. I'm so happy that we're all here again and we're able to meet each other. I want to especially extend a big thank you to our sponsors, Merrick Community Services, Hmong American Partnership, UCare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, as well as Harmony Adult Care Center LLC. Sorry, I'm gonna pull up my little sheet here. I wanna also thank Thai Twist, as well as Cups and Cheers, Ramsey County, Unison, K Brown, Hmong Radio Broadcast, and Xiong Mo. Thank you all for being here.
Good morning, distinguished guests and members of the Hmong community. Thank you for joining us for the 42nd annual Hmong Minnesota New Year and the grand opening as we come together to celebrate this Hmong holiday. Dòng xia chập lờ, bây tua xin di tỉnh dây tỉnh mua, vì tu ca mò tàu tàu, bây tàu ở lưu xiong, bây chỉ tàu ship bỏ. We have been on halt due to the pandemic. This would have been our 44th anniversary. As the president of the United Hmong family, I want to take this time where our nation is taking a pause to give thanks and give a sincere appreciation to each and every one of you for keeping this tradition of celebrating the Hmong New Year alive. This is a tradition passed on for hundreds of years. The last 2 years have been harsh, especially when we saw small family-owned businesses close and the losses of loved ones. In coming back together, I want to remind us of our achievements. Through research and data, it has shown in Minnesota, we have over 80,000 Hmong residents, an economic buying power of $2 billion. And we continue to contribute in the workforce and also pay hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. We continue to make Minnesota the second largest population of Hmong in the United States. And with hosting this Hmong New Year celebration and the Hmong International Freedom Festival, these two events continue to support the vibrancy of local businesses not alone to the Hmong. I am especially humbled to have our newly elected Senator Neng Xiong and our new St. Paul Chief of Police, Axel Henry, along with his wife, and many elected officials and leaders from local offices joining us today in leading the opening ceremonies, as each and every one of you have carved out your time from family and friends with this holiday weekend to join us, sending a strong message, your recognition of the contribution of the Hmong in Minnesota, and reminding us that we are not forgotten and we are in this together. The Board of Trustees named the theme of this year's Minnesota Hmong New Year, Lighting the Torch. Our Hmong elders planted a tree more than 40 years ago. That tree has bore fruit as we continue to embrace being Hmong Americans. This past election, we had several elected to office who are of Hmong descent, reflecting the endurance of this community. As we all come together and rejoice with the festivities and being here in person, please be reminded of the work ahead of us in 2023 with continued need to create more sustainable programs that will support a more vibrant Minnesota for you and I. Yalin da gu tha wa zhou zhou yi zhong mong yi zhong tu chân thành chế thiết cho tu lan chạy lùa do trâu tây nè tây chỉ cho linh chùa tu cổng tây mong Minnesota lúc ba chia bê châu tua bê mong luôn bê ô châu đôi cho mê tu linh nhọ ta tỏ tua sĩ từ tua bê lúc ba chia bê châu sâu nó tua bê mong tây chu kỳ chú sinh chấp lờ cú xã hãy lo lù đôi cho nè cho gì ô này châu John đồng này tàu cho tàu chi tàu tàu ba chi nu nọ bê mong tàu nọ lại tia khó cơ nọ của thọ cả vài chữ giờ sau lo cho cử bê ý chồng mong có đây chia bê tàu hầu có chia tàu nọ thọ có lưới xong lầu ta lưới xong chia tàu tua có bê ý chồng mong nọ cả nhà rồng cứ nhia là bù na có số đời tua cổng lưới ba chia bê giàu đó một giá vặt cho chế lưới nia lưới xong bê đặc cá tua xin chi luôn dân xì liệt u. May everyone be blessed with great fortune, prosperity, and happiness in 2023. Please join me in applauding this year's event chair and co-chair Kiari Lee and Tu Li Cha in your planning committee for creating a great event for us today. Before I leave, we have a lineup of speakers to help celebrate the Hmong New Year. Before having them come up to the stage, I would like to share a letter we received from Ms. Crystal Kai, the Executive Director of the White House Initiative on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. Khó cơ nó ít trong nhà trong gì, nên tôi cho họ lưu tổ chế nó. Bây giờ Board of Trustees, cái xia hay tia, bây tu ôm mong nhớ là lưu đi kèm cả nó, nu nó bây vả măng. Lúa từ má từ xua là do bé cứ bé ti bé cứ giống xía hay tiệm mua cho nọ cho chứ lúa sợ chỉ do bé hay nên mong là lúa tôi cộng bé chân cả bé chế nên đầu kế phong kế dư có bé do tí chế nên ngầu xứ ấy giờ linh đầu xong nọ cứ mua ít chán đầu chữ xanh tôi cho bé bé cho phong kế dư do từ Crystal Kai do từ Executive Director President Joe Biden tàu chỉ trả nhớ từ Washington D.C. After reading this letter, we will also be sharing a video with Erica Mortsugu with a message to the Hmong community in Minnesota. Erica, ku sato idai dua to hai ape la lu Hmong to pe hai ning Hmong yo don Minnesota hei pe lu pe kyau shau no nu ya tu Deputy Director o halu to President Joe Biden. Ayalin daw kuya nyeng chan daw onte pe cho day video. November 26, 2022, the White House Initiative. Dear friends, on behalf of the White House Initiative on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, I send warm regards to all those gathered for the United Hmong Families 42nd Annual Minnesota Hmong New Year celebration. The White House Initiative works to advance equity, justice, and opportunity for Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders by coordinating a whole-of-government approach spanning federal policymaking, program development, public outreach, and more. As part of our mission, the initiative is committed to expanding economic opportunity and promoting the health and safety and well-being of Asian Americans and NHPI communities throughout the country. Throughout its history, United Hmong Family has worked to preserve Hmong culture and heritage through intergenerational collaboration, youth leadership programs, and community service. I offer my heartfelt congratulations on your 42nd annual Hmong New Year celebration. Thank you for your leadership and best wishes for your continued success. Happy New Year, sincerely, Crystal Kai. Ilin đỡ bé sẽ rồi ôn nữ trâu, nữ cú sa tô y chan đỡ, tua hãy lo lù cho bé y chồng mong. Ilin đỡ thọ trò đẩy đua tô rần đỡ. Lou, Washington, White House Initiative.
Greetings. And Yang Zhang Zhang Jia, everyone. I'm humbled to be here with you all for this celebration. My name is Erica Moritsugi, and I serve as a Deputy Assistant to President Joe Biden and his Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Senior Liaison at the White House. It's my honor to be the voice in the White House to ensure all Asian American and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander voices and needs are reflected in the Biden-Harris administration's policies and programs, and that the richness and diversity of our communities are no longer invisible. Thanks to community organizations like the United Hmong Family Inc., the Hmong American community in Minnesota has been able to celebrate this rich New Year tradition for more than 40 years. It's wonderful to see how the annual celebration has been woven into the fabric of Minnesota's history and culture that now draws over 40,000 Hmong Americans from across the nation and even abroad. And since Minnesota is home to nearly 80,000 Hmong Americans, I know how important the celebration is to all of you. It's one of the many reasons why the celebration is so important to us. In marking the end of the harvest season, this is our opportunity to rejoice in community abundance. From Hmong veterans serving in the Secret War to public servants and all Hmong elected officials who lead our communities in policymaking every day, to trailblazers like U.S. Gold Olympian Sunisa Lee. The Hmong community is essential to the American story. And I'm so honored to recognize these achievements with all of you today as you celebrate the 42nd Hmong New Year celebration in Minnesota. I'm also delighted to recognize that Commissioner Kai-Ying Yang hails from the great state of Minnesota and currently serves as a commissioner appointed to the President's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, where she and the other commissioners provide recommendations to the President on how best to serve and advance our Asian American and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander communities. Since day one, President Biden and Vice President Harris have demonstrated their commitment to empowering and uplifting Hmong Americans. The President's made good on his promise to create an administration that looks like America, while also enacting legislation that advances and empowers our collective AA and NHPI communities. Now, while our shared efforts to promote educational equity, increase language access and competency, broaden economic opportunity, and address anti-Asian violence in Minnesota and everywhere else in this country continues, this is also a time to reflect on our history and accomplishments to date, so that we can build back in a manner that promotes resiliency and healing, especially after the losses we all endured during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm so delighted to honor the rich history and culture of the Hmong American community today, and I look forward to celebrating with you throughout the weekend into the new year. Happy Hmong New Year. Wacha.
Next, please play please play the Senator Amy Klobuchar video, please.
Liajdawbnmaya. I'd like to wish a happy Hmong New Year to everyone attending today's celebration. Every year I've been blown away by your beautiful culture, from the pageantry and the games to the vibrant colors and the proud display of your heritage. I am so proud that Minnesota is the second largest Hmong population in the U.S. and the largest urban Hmong population in the world. The Hmong community has thrived in Minnesota while also preserving the traditions of your ancestors. It was 46 years ago that the first Hmong migrants arrived in Minnesota, and in the decades since, this community has made so many contributions to our state and to our nation. You're serving in the military and as police officers and firefighters. You've become doctors and lawyers. You own small businesses. You're writing books and music and creating beautiful art. You're teaching in Minnesota schools. You're raising children and you have grandchildren. You're serving in our state legislature and in our city government. You're breaking barriers, and yes, You are bringing home Olympic gold medals. And I was excited to see that Suni Lee announced she has her sights set on the 2024 Paris Olympics. You've become leaders, and your leadership is helping to move our state forward. This celebration shows us all that we are a better nation because of our immigrants, that Minnesota's strength and vitality comes from the diversity of our people, and that Hmong Americans are an essential and vibrant part of life in our state. We know that America can't afford to shut out the world's talent or drive away those who call our country home. We must continue to be a place where all people feel welcomed, because immigrants don't diminish America, they are America. And with Hmong American communities across the Twin Cities coming together, this celebration is showing that at our best, we are a nation and a state committed to the ideal that what unites us is what much bigger than what divides us. So I look forward to working with all of you as we build a brighter future together, a future filled with the promise of new beginnings for the Hmong community and all Americans. Here's to a successful and prosperous New Year. Thank you, and Neng Xiong Chia. Thank you. Happy New Year.